to the Zyori Podcast. This is episode number 129. It is July 6th, 2018, and we're doing a late night podcast. Not very often you see us at this hour. It's about 10 p.m. Mountain Time. We're getting geared up for a little bit of MPGL LAN coverage. Exciting time of the year, the run-up to TI. This is one of the last events. I don't think any of these teams are going to TI, but it's still a $80,000 LAN in the Southeast Asian region. So we're going to get one of these guys in, and then I'm going to join the crew for coverage tonight, and then I'm off to holiday in Sweden for the next 10 days starting tomorrow. So I'm fucking pumped.
Oh, you're out.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
not
out,
on
dude.
the rest of them. You're on the schedule, though. You liar.
No, I'm not. Am I? I think I changed it. Now it's Base Kip is on tomorrow.
Oh, I see. So
So
who is hosting duties? Maut still?
I think so. I don't know. How did it go? So how did it go last night? Day one of MPGL already happened. I heard the games were relative blowouts, so that's cool.
Yeah, they were okay, though. My
Okay.
schedule. Oh, I see. For 2 days. Maut's hosting. Oh, okay. Neat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, this is Base Kip's time zone, baby. He's in. I tried
That's
to
true.
dodge on tonight, but he said he had plans. He's going out with his mates, so
Wow. How dare he?
I had to actually show up to work tonight. That's a bummer.
Australian hooligan.
I know, right? So I'm actually looking forward to checking out Trent. I have to admit, I was thinking about it when I was driving to Safeway earlier. I have a new ritual,
Okay.
for a while before traveling, it's the pillow. You get a clean pillowcase, you pack the pillow, and I hug that little thing on the airplane. I up the ante now. I travel with a couple pounds of beef jerky, and it's a great feeling. And it's not just because jerky's good, but one of the things I always hated about beef jerky was having a little, 3 or 4 ounce bag of it, eating 2 pieces and being like, wow, I've eaten a lot of my jerky already. If you bring 2 pounds of jerky, you can just go to town and be an American glutton anywhere in the world. And I found if I've got jerky, my tablet with internet, and a pillow, I can survive for at least 24 hours in pretty much any situation.
Yeah.
Internet's a big caveat, but still. I'm excited to actually travel just for fun, just to check out. I realize that usually when I'm traveling for events, I'm always kind of nervous. I'm afraid I didn't pack the right shirts. I'm afraid I'm missing a belt or some shit. Always worried about my bag getting lost, but I don't have anything to worry about this trip. I don't have anything to do. I can just fucking hang out.
Forget something, buy it. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna
The
be
jerky
relaxing.
was perfect. I munched on that jerky in China, and under
There you
your
go.
recommendation, I brought a bunch of granola bars, which saved me on several occasions.
Those moments
yeah.
when you've got the shits in a foreign country, you just want a recognizable flavor. Even if it's a shitty granola bar, you're like, I'll take that fucking shitty granola bar than more of the mystery hummus. I can't do mystery hummus right now.
Oh, I was telling Sarah about the mystery hummus today.
Yeah.
It was still better. So, in glorious Halifax, one of the best parts of the entire year, which I missed because of the China Dota 2 Super Major, speaking of which, is Greek Fest. Which is just because we have a pretty sizable Greek community, and they have a big little. That's not quite the right phrase. It's pretty big. It's grown substantially in the past couple of years. It's got some exponential growth shit going on, where now it's crazy. For the 4 days that it's on, it is packed. So you pay to get in. It helps raise money for all the stuff inside the Greek community, because they have Greek school where the kids that are live here basically every Sunday, instead of going to a Sunday school, they go to what's called Greek school, and they learn about Greece, and they learn how to speak Greek. And
Interesting.
my cousins are Greek, so Sarah's uncle is 100% Greek. He came over here when he was 17, went to Toronto with fucking nothing, and made his way.
Does he have an awesome Greek name like Yiannopoulos?
Pantelis?
Pantelis? That's pretty good.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's fantastic. And the food, so you just go and you eat food, and it is unbelievably good.
I'm jealous.
Oh my God, I love Greek food. But I missed it this year, and I was very upset. So what we had to do instead was we had to go to Lebanese Fest, which has started 2 or 3 years ago, and was right now. And my God, it was so good. I got a shawarma plate, and I got hummus, and it still wasn't as good as that China hummus. I'm sorry, Lebanese Fest.
It's a very descriptive title, but something about it, if someone was just like, hey, you want to go to Lebanese Fest? I wouldn't really get excited, but I bet the food is 10 out of 10 banging.
It was
especially
absolutely 10 out of 10.
I guess the local Lebanese food in Halifax is pretty solid, huh?
Yeah, we have a big Lebanese community, so delicious.
Yeah.
And they were all watching World Cup, which was hilarious, because there was 2 full tables of Brazilians going insane when they scored that first goal, and then falling on the floor every time they missed after that. It was so funny.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with much World Cup there, boss?
Not really, because it's not so much on my schedule because of this stuff. Whenever I'm awake during the day, I'm basically with baby and wife. But a couple times I've been checking it out. I watched the England game. That was a close one. That was intense.
Oh yeah, some of the games have actually been pretty good. I saw the Brazil-Belgium game today. That was pretty good. Brazil is, goddamn, those South American teams, man, when they get behind and they're like, we got nothing to lose, they just start going for it. You know, some of those final cards, like in the last 10 or 15 minutes, you're like, that wasn't even close to a legal play. You know, like what are you doing?
Yes,
I mean, I guess you've got nothing to lose. You're down 2 goals. You might as well just take the guy's legs out so he doesn't get close to your net. But Jesus Christ, it makes for some interesting games. I'm excited because I'm going to be in Sweden during the finals and the last part of the elimination.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to wake up. I'm probably just going to pull an all-nighter tonight. But if I make it all the way and I get to watch this, I'm excited to see Sweden versus England. If Sweden wins, holy fuck, dude. If Sweden makes it to the finals, I can't wait to watch it in the heart of the motherland. I'm going to buy a fucking jersey, dude. I'm in. Go Sweden.
Go Sweden.
Now, I don't know if they can beat England, and I don't know if they can beat who is it after that? Is it
Sweden's pretty convinced they won from what I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, they've looked pretty good. England won in PKs. I don't know if you're aware of how nuts that is. Apparently, that hasn't happened since like the 90s.
1930 or some 30s, shit, or I don't know.
I don't know. Some crazy, like, it's a big deal for England to make it this far. I think their team's notorious for always bombing out in World Cup despite being such a good football country, you know?
Yep.
But anyway, I've been enjoying it, man. I love it.
My favorite thing to do about the World Cup is it's not even that much about watching the games. It's watching my Twitter feed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And, like, it's like this and Eurovision, dude. Twitter's just fucking crazy. All these Europeans into Dota go crazy about Eurovision, and now they're just going wild over the World Cup, and it just cracks me up so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, they get so much. Man, Ted, Period Flags, is so angry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the... Carlo and I were talking about that, and one of the things Carlo said was, we don't even deserve to go that far in World Cup because Americans just don't care about it enough. You know, these other countries, like, they cry when their team wins, let alone cry when their team loses and is eliminated. And America's like, oh, we didn't make it into the event. Oh, man, it's going to be in our country in the next time. So, well, whatever, you know, I don't really, we'll make up for it. We don't give a shit.
Oh, no, we
don't
really
deserve
don't. It slays me.
How come Canada didn't make it further? Do you guys just not have a lot of footballers?
No, we
cold,
don't.
Huh?
Soccer's not very big here. It's the fastest growing sport.
Wow.
So it's on the rise. I think I can't remember
sport.
if it's soccer or women's hockey is growing faster. It's one or the other, but they're very close.
Huh.
So it's on the uppity up. There's a ton of soccer being played in the summers here. Like, it's kind of crazy compared to when I was a kid.
I mean, it's a great cheap sport, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't take much. Cleats, some socks, some shin guards, a ball. You're in there, dude. It's quite good. I don't understand England's slogan this year. Is it England's coming home? England is coming home?
No, it's like the trophy's coming home. Like, we're the kings of soccer because we ruled the world or some shit.
Sure.
We spread it. If I'm not mistaken, it's because they basically say they created football.
I mean, I kind of get what it means. I'm more just saying, like, that seems a little cocky. You know, it's just it's a weird slogan.
If there was a World Hockey Tournament, that's what we would say. Guaranteed.
Canada is coming home?
No, hockey is coming home.
Hockey is coming home?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, see, because, like, we invented it. You want a link? It's a song.
Oh. Well, that
makes some sense.
Today we learned.
I wonder if soccer really... I'm going to Google that. Where was soccer invented?
I have no idea.
Is it actually credited to England? In the mid-19th century? That's it? They codified the rules 1848 Cambridge. So England does claim it. I mean, that's pretty fair, honestly. I can see that.
I see. Although the Chinese claim to have played a version centuries earlier, they called it football, but not because the ball is played with your feet, but because the game is played on foot rather than horseback.
I'm reading the exact same thing as you right now.
What the fuck? Well, interesting. So 1863 is the supposed date that it was invented between the Barnes Football Club and the Richmond Football Club. The game ended in a 0-0 draw, a rousing game of football.
Now I believe it.
Yeah. And then
what are your thoughts on actually watching the game?
I I enjoy it. So I played soccer for a number of years. Carlo and I were on the same team, and it was a fairly competitive traveling team, like through our middle school years. And the divisions were kind of weird. There was no entry-level calibration, so anytime you had a new team, and there were like tryouts and shit, you would start at the bottom and then have to work your way up. So the first like 2 years that we played, we just demolished everyone because we were semi-serious. And then eventually you get towards the top and it becomes difficult. But we put some decent effort in. I never really had good cardio, but I was a little fancy. I was a good passer, you know. When I played defense, they called me the blanket because I was good at covering the whole field, you know. Anyway.
You play competitive soccer. Boom, roasted.
Oh, my God. I know. The moment when you realize you just went way too deep into a childhood memory and you just go, oh, fuck, I'm in, boys. Let's go.
No, this is what I want to know. This is what I need to know.
But so I enjoy it, though. You know, I don't mind watching games that are relatively, you know, low scoring if there's a lot of plays at the net and there's a lot of good passing going on and, you know, the game can still be interesting, but it's not for everyone. I understand how it's way more boring than American football, where it's just fucking overgrown monsters manhandling each other at every turn. I like them both. If you've never played soccer, though, I see why you wouldn't enjoy watching it, I guess is how I'd summarize.
I think it's like football is boring for its own reasons because of all the stoppage. One thing soccer does have that's really nice is the fact that it just keeps going. And like the clock's always ticking. It's very rare for it to be stopped and slowed down. But its biggest downside, at least in my spectator perspective, is just like sometimes that ball just gets locked in the middle of the field for what feels like 25 fucking minutes. And then it finally gets in the zone and the guy kicks it like 18 feet wide of the net. And the goalie has like, one time I opened it up and they were like 3 saves this game. And it was like most saves in the World Cup so far. I'm just like, Jesus. So boring position.
Think of it like Dota, right? Think of it like an hour-long Dota game. There's a whole stretch in the middle that's like 20 or 25 minutes long where they're pretty much not doing anything. They're just farming. They're getting items. And it is kind of interesting to us because we understand the nuances and we can analyze the items. We're like, I don't know, if he bought Blink Dagger, maybe they could fight a little bit. Maybe they can take objectives.
And there's like strategy changes in soccer where like there's like the rows of dudes and the 3-4, 3-2, whatever kind of shit that you do in every other sport.
To our hardcore fan base, that's still interesting, but it builds up to the hype. So when that fight actually happens at Roche and they've got double refresher shards or whatever the fuck's going on, you're like, oh my God, this was worth the wait because that final fight was so exciting. That's what soccer's like at the end. The last like 15 minutes when it's elimination and teams don't want to go to overtime or you're at the end of overtime and they're going for it, it gets a lot more exciting. You know, they can turn up the juice and really get aggressive. But
it is funny how much more active it gets in the last 10 minutes.
Yes.
Like everyone's just playing a little bit crazier and the ball is just always in the offensive zone.
Yes. So mid-game is a little bit of the build-up. If you had to choose, I'd almost always rather watch the second half than the first half. Just by nature of it. But
that's pretty much for most sports, to be fair.
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I can't stand, though, and this is not an uncommon opinion, the diving is so fucking absurd. Goddamn Neymar, dude. I'm watching Neymar roll around on the ground squealing like he's having a seizure, and then he's playing 5 minutes later. What the fuck? How do you not get a card for that shit, dude? What is happening there?
I have to laugh every time one of these GIFs gets posted. And like, because I'm frequenting the soccer subreddit right now, which by the way I find hilarious that on Reddit, because it's an American company, all the Europeans still have to use the soccer subreddit, and that must just drive them fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love how every single GIF, the top comment is like, "Oh, here's another thing for soccer or like other spectators to say why soccer's terrible and shit." Every single one has just like, "Oh, here's another GIF for them to bring up," and I'm like, "Well, guys, when there's fucking a dozen of them, I'm sorry, you got a problem." And
exactly.
Everyone acts like, it is awful.
It's so bad, and
it's painful to watch.
I think every team does it. I think some teams do it more than others, and some teams really push it to the extreme. Where it's like, I mean, honestly, dude, that Neymar shit, it's just embarrassing. It's just disgraceful. You know, like you should care about your sport a little bit more because the people that don't really care about your sport see that shit and go, "That's why I don't watch that bullshit." You know, and Carlo makes a good point as well. He talks about hockey. He's like, dude, you get hit in the face with a stick, you go into the locker room, get a couple of stitches, you're back out there 10 minutes later.
Yeah,
you know?
It's the same thing as Laddie is pointing out for rugby. It's like they go into the locker room, right, in hockey or rugby, and like they get the little stitches and the glue, and like you get back out there, and like you start bleeding. You're like, no, I'm not bleeding. No, it's fine.
Exactly.
Let me stay on, you know.
It's ridiculous. And
oh my god,
I think the problem though is that the penalty system in soccer is not. It doesn't have enough depth to it. You know, cards.
I think they're getting there. If I'm not mistaken.
Cards by nature, I think, are too punishing. Because if you get, so I didn't realize that this mechanic exists. But if you get a yellow card in game 1, you go to the next round, you get a yellow card in game 2, you have to sit out in game 3. They stack up, and that counts as a red card. You sit out a game. So. Wow. Getting a yellow card
I didn't know that either.
is actually a really big fucking deal. It's not just, I got one this game, I didn't get a second, so I didn't get ejected. But if somebody does get 2 yellow cards and they get ejected, or you give somebody a red card, the team plays man down for the rest of the fucking game. That is such a big deal on a field that large. If you ever look at the stream that's just like the 360 view, that's the overview of the field, you don't realize how much open space there is on the field at all times. They're running like fucking crazy.
It's true.
Man
they run
down.
Like 10K a game or something.
Yeah, dude, man down is fucking nutso. So, especially if you're going into overtime. So that's why refs are hesitant to give out, really strict cards for stuff like that. Because, like, dude, if you eject Neymar, like, that's, you're going to get accused of favoring the other team or something because you just ejected their best player. So, they need some kind of, what if you got a yellow card and you played man down for 10 minutes? Something like that. There needs to be some kind of.
I've been saying the power play, dude.
Exactly.
I've been saying
the power play. You need a short-term punishment where it's like, okay, you scored a goal, but you can still come back. Not you're fucked for the next 45 minutes because that guy fucked up his tackle. I digress.
Yeah, I like how they're using that. They call it VAR, Virtual Assistant Referee, I believe, is what it stands for. That cracks me up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, so they'll review dives to see if it was like a dive or not. Well, which I think's pretty cool.
That's a big deal now because I don't know if it was last World Cup or the one before that, but this is really recent technology for soccer. There was, I think it was when I was in college. Whichever World Cup that was, there was a goal that they miscalled on the field, and the way the rules were written, it's whatever the ref calls stands, and if it was like a breakaway or whatever, he's on the other side of the field, he didn't see it, and I forget which way it went, but I think it went into the goal and then bounced off the back part of the net and came back out, and he thought it hit the post, so he called it no goal. The goalie said, no, it's a goal, it went in, but still the ref had already called it, so they ruled it as it stood. And they didn't have any review things. They weren't using camera technology. So that's like a big progression for soccer is actually reviewing stuff and saying exactly what happened. Okay, this is, we know exactly. So with the dives, it's kind of important because sometimes you can see it. They barely touch each other and they, start rolling around and shit.
Dude, I would legit be so interested in a power play system, like a penalty box in soccer. That would be, not only would that be the greatest thing because it would actually be cooler to watching soccer, we would get to hold it over them for fucking ever as hockey fans. Be like, oh, remember that time? Yeah. You guys finally fixed your sport? You're welcome. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah. No problem. We got you. Oh, dude, that would be great.
I'm with it. I still think hockey is more fun to watch. I think hockey is my number one. Of all sports to watch live, hockey's my number one. I think North American football is actually my number 2 to watch on TV. Watching it live in person is pretty shit, honestly. Yeah. It's really not that great. Watching it on TV is a great experience. Then after that, soccer, either in person or on TV. Those are my top 3.
Basketball in person is quite fun too, actually. Okay. I won't watch basketball really on TV, but in person it's pretty great. Big fan. Yeah. So speaking of other sports, this is a sports podcast, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know how it happened, but there's so much sports stuff to talk about.
I mean, World Cup happens once every 4 years. Yeah. All right? You can suck it up, motherfuckers. It's only on for another week. So.
And I've got some other sports to talk about. So do you know what happened in the NBA? Have you been keeping up?
Well, so I know, is LeBron on the Lakers now?
LeBron is on the Lakers. And then one of the other big, essentially free agents, someone who's going to turn teams, actually fucking went to Golden State.
Oh.
So Boogie has gone to Golden State, which means they literally, like legitimately, if you were to play fucking NBA 2K and make the best team you could and win 82 games in the year, whatever they play, that this would be the Golden State Warriors. It's a fucking joke. It's actually ridiculous.
So does the NBA not have salary caps or something?
They do, but they all just take a cut so they can win. And they fucked up the salary cap where it's like way too high. And the NBA basically was in, I believe it was a disagreement with I don't know what it's called in the NBA, but the Players Union, Players Association. Same thing they have in like hockey, NHLPA. I'm guessing it's NBAPA. But the NBA basically said, hey guys, I think the salaries are getting a little out of control. I don't really think we should push this anymore. And the players like, no, push it. Fuck you, push it. Because obviously they want higher caps because it only benefits players, really. other than parity. And the parity is completely fucked. And it's true. So Mutant Elite points out Miami fucked up the NBA a decade ago, and that's true. LeBron cannot complain about this at all with these 5-man stacks and these ridiculous rosters because he started it. Because they did the triple threat in Miami.
Is he complaining, or are we just complaining?
No, he's not.
I was going to say.
Quiet. No, he's been good about it, but it is true that it's literally all his fault.
Yeah.
Because he was the one who first did like Bosh and Wade and LeBron, and they created that whole trio of just like, yeah. And then KD gets all the hate, which he deserves hate too. But I would say LeBron started it first.
What was LeBron's deal that he just signed? Was it $46 million for 4 years? Is that what I saw?
I think it was even more than that. Maybe it was something ridiculous.
$56 million for 4 years. I remember seeing the headline. Wow. Good old basketball.
Someone's gonna have it. Blah 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 blah.
50 plus.
I don't know because all I care about is the 154 million.
Oh, I missed a one. 154. Okay. Wow.
It's something. It averages out to like 30-some million a year or something. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I was off by pretty much an order of magnitude there. That's great. Fucking basketball, man. I don't understand how that sport still doesn't have better rules in terms of drawing fouls. It's like soccer and basketball are the two sports where, oh, you touched me. All right, get down there. You get a couple of free shots now. It's like, ref, he looked at me. Oh, he touched my hair. I get a free kick now. Like, come on, man. Like play a man sport.
Yeah.
Get knocked in the head and get up. Like, there were a couple plays in the Belgium-Brazil game at the end where, like, a couple of the Belgian players got taken out. They didn't even pretend to be hurt. They just got up right away, and they're like, just keep fucking playing. Let's keep the ball moving, And I really respected that. And it's sad that I noticed that they weren't acting like pussies. That's how bad it is. You expect anytime someone gets hit to fake the injury. I'm like, wow, this guy's actually just playing soccer. Let's give this guy a quick golf clap here. Fucking basketball, man. They blow the whistle so much in the last 5 minutes of the game, I can't watch it. It's unbearable.
I played a fuck ton of basketball growing up, so I kind of get it, and it doesn't bother me. Because I, understand all the strategy and all the, you only have so many fouls to give, realistically. And, every time you give a foul, at least there is a very big penalty for it. Foul shots pretty much fuck you up.
Yeah, exactly. They're freebies,
the guy should
dude.
not miss.
They're fucking free throws. Fuck that. Look at hockey. You don't get a penalty shot in front of the goalie. They don't just give you a breakaway. It's like, you play man down. You still have to figure out how to get the puck in the net and get it past the goalie and the defender. Basketball's like, you touched his arm, so now we're going to give him the points that he still got because, let's face it, you didn't really interrupt him that much. And now he just gets to lob a couple in, and as long as he's not Shaq, he's going to make them. I don't get it. I'm a basketball hater. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I played basketball for 15 or 16 years.
It's just an odd concept.
No, literally, I don't watch it on TV. That's how bad. I agree.
There you go.
Well, penalty shots are different, though. He means, penalty shot in hockey would be if the goalie just fucking left the net. Imagine there was just no goalie,
Or, if you had a shootout, do they ever do that? If, I don't know, there's some really blatant, red card level foul in hockey where you just get a free breakaway?
Yeah, if you're on a breakaway and someone hooks you from behind or some shit, then you get a penalty shot. So it's just you start at center ice and the goalie. And
okay, so that does exist in I've actually never seen that in hockey.
It's very uncommon
because you don't usually get that kind of a breakaway where it's a guaranteed pretty much one-on-one with the goalie. That almost never happens.
Yeah, and when you do get those breakaways, people are smart enough not to fucking just hack you down because you don't want to trip the guy because it's going to be more likely that he scores on a penalty shot than he does on this breakaway shit.
Yeah. So. Wow, that's crazy. That makes me want to watch some fucking hockey highlights. See a couple breakaways, dude. See him hacked in there.
We haven't talked about hockey this whole time, and obviously I don't need to say it, but hockey to me is by far the superior sport. And I know it's probably a culture thing because I've grown up watching it forever, and literally you could turn on the TV every single night at 7+ p.m. and just watch free hockey that was just over the airwaves in Canada. So I just fucking love it. My God, the next 3 years, if Toronto does not win the Stanley Cup, the country is going to explode. Because they have the best team they've had in forever. Guys, it's happening. Are you aware of what happened, Andrew? Do you know what Toronto has done?
No, I don't.
Toronto has gotten the best free agent that is available this year. They have John Tavares. He was rumored to be going down to Tampa Bay. It was probably going to happen, and maybe it was going to be Boston, and everyone in Toronto was getting their hopes up way too much. And then it actually happened. 7 years, $77 million, I believe. Couldn't believe my fucking eyes when I saw it. I thought it was going to be like a 3-year deal. He's coming home. He's from Toronto. He wants to stay. It's the best, guys. I'm so excited. Now, mind you, if they don't win, like literally, they have to fucking win. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Winnipeg did win it first. Not gonna lie, Winnipeg's very good too. But please, Toronto, please, dude, next year is gonna be so exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait for hockey to start.
Wow. Dude, we should go to a Maple Leafs game.
We should. I'm down. I've never been to one. I went to a Senators and Penguins game, which turned out to be the game that Sidney Crosby came back from his injury completely by random happenstance, and it was the best thing ever.
Oh, well, there you go. So you've got good luck with these things. Oh, man. Exactly. Dude, I would love to go to a really hype hockey game like that. The Avalanche is good, but I want to experience Canadian hockey. I want to go to a fucking Moosehead game. I bet your Mooseheads games are like Avalanche games, if not more so. I can't imagine what your NHL games are like.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, the Ottawa one was crazy, and that was like everyone was going crazy for Pittsburgh scoring because of Crosby. Just like everyone loves him.
What was when we were there, Northern Arena? There was it the Red Wings?
The Habs.
Red Wings were playing
Montreal.
The Habs in Montreal. Is that what it was? Because I remember Breaky went to a game when he was there for that event. So we actually could have gone to that if we really wanted to. That would have been pretty wild.
Oh, it's Mr.
Dakota.
Mr. Dakota.
Wow.
Hey, buddy. My fellow bot TI participant. I think we get to work together. That's going to be fun. But, yeah, do you remember every night down at the bar, like all the Habs fans going crazy?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Like all week? That was great.
That was like the one everyone was coping with Trump getting elected by just watching hockey. Talking Dota, watching hockey, and playing fucking Gears of War Infinity or whatever that game's called.
It was good times.
Oh my! So what's happening in the Dota world, man? What?
The real sports? You mean?
Real digital
Dota
sports.
Real sports? Yeah.
Welcome to the real world.
What is going on in Dota? There was a game today where Vega Squadron was against Double Dimension, and the Ursa player on Double Dimension had a internet problem. Not sure what it was, but he was DC'd. Both teams used all their pause time, very gentlemanlike, and the admin was like, "No, we gotta go." And of course, chat was great because the admin was actually obeying the rules, so they were all really pissed and saying, "Follow the spirit of the game, not the spirit of the law," as one person kept saying. But loved it. Excellent work, admin. Anyway, they were way up, and then it became that 4v5. So DD started losing and losing and losing, and Vega couldn't close it out. The Ursa managed to reconnect, and they won. They basically won 4v5. They were already starting to come back even without Ursa. It was pretty funny.
Wow.
So Vega lost a 4v5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
with Dendy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is the Vega lineup right now?
I think it's same. I forget who's missing for Dendy.
I'm gonna look it up because I'm
not
quite
sure
curious.
who it was. Yeah, because I know they also had Solo stand in too, because they were having some connection issues as well. I know Palantimos was there, Sioma's still there, Zayats is still there. So was it Blizzy? Yeah, it looks like it's Blizzy who hasn't been playing.
Wow, dude. That's I just feel bad.
Oh yeah, dude. Eddie just pointed out the funniest part. So the Ursa, they had been controlling him, right? And he just had a blink dagger and like 6,700 gold or something, but he was still kind of useful because they could still like jump in and do some shit with the Ursa.
Right, sure.
So then the Ursa tries to reconnect while they were pushing bottom lane with the hero, and he reconnects so they can no longer control him, but then he didn't get back into the game for like 2 more minutes, and his hero just died to the lane creeps. In a pro game. It was really funny.
Oh,
he was like half stuck in the trees.
No, I know what you mean. There's that weird, like, as soon as someone starts reconnecting, you can't control them anymore. And then they've actually not loaded in yet. That's shitty.
It's been a little bit of a problem during the Underhollow matches with randoms, you know. Yeah. Everyone gets DC'd from that, which has gotten better, I will say.
But I feel like I'd have to watch the game because I mean, all of us that have played enough Dota, we've all lost 4v5s. You know, you have those moments where you're like, guys, I don't know how we gave this away, but we've got 2 supports that are like half the net worth of their lowest player, and they're basically 4 cores now, and we're fucked. We're losing to this goddamn Spectre. What are we doing?
Do you what hero do you always lose to in 4v5s? Because for me, there's always the same hero that I lose to, and I wonder if it's the same for you. Is there a specific hero for you?
I think like Spectre, Tinker are the two that come to mind in 4v5.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna. For me, number one, it's Phantom Assassin. I feel like I lose every time it's a 4v5 and there's a fucking PA on the enemy team. She gets so much extra gold, and she just destroys us.
Yeah,
I will agree. Tinker is a pretty solid other one too.
Yeah, I think usually it's those games where they picked like shit and they actually just have 4 legit cores and my team is not working together and they're all like, hey, it's 4v5, we won already, let's just all farm wherever we want, and they keep getting picked off and they're getting more gold plus the pickoffs plus getting more XP from every team fight because Jesus, dude, it's not good. They just outscale you so fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 4v5s are actually kind of fun. It feels so good to win a 4v5. The flip side of that is
it's beautiful. Yeah. And you kind of feel it when you're losing the 4v5 and they're just like, oh, and you're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. No, that's man, this poor Vega lineup, man, they just can't catch a break.
Yeah, that was rough for them. Oh. I saw also the Summit invites went out, which was Fnatic, VGJ, Storm, and EG, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So, 2 TI qualifiers. First place qualifier, isn't that right?
And
no, VGJ Storm was the first place.
So qualifier. Those are accepted invites. Okay, cool. Wow.
And then
so
EG. Yep.
Fnatic, and then the BTS Summer Cup. All right.
Yes, the winner of that. So that'll be pretty
like
cool.
some CIS dotes and some.
I'm not sure who's still in that. I know Waga's team was doing fairly well.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's almost done. So Vega Squadron and Gang Squad, whoever the hell that is.
Oh, so there's a phase 1 and a phase 2.
Yeah, so they're into phase 2 now, and it looks like the groups are pretty much done. They've got some decider matches still to play to finish up that bracket. So cool. Wow, some Dota worth watching.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So they seeded them based on the TI qualifiers, right? So like Team Empire and Vega Squadron were put into phase 1.
Yeah.
Even though they're like kind of well-known teams, you know what I mean? Whereas like Espada, DD, Final Tribe, Alliance,
Wind and Rain.
and Wind and Rain are all phase 2. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. So Wagamama's team was a best of 3 against Vega Squadron away from qualifying. Ouch. They would have made it into this phase. That would have been kind of cool for them. I mean, still unlikely they win it, but that would have been kind of neat.
Also unfortunate because Vega bombed out and they didn't make it out of the group.
Oh, yeah, they're just done, eh?
I think so.
Yeah, and then Gang Squad and Espada.
Yeah, it's 2 teams from each group, and they already went 0-2. If you go 0-2, you're out. So there's going to be 2 deciders left for the teams that are 1-1. That's a real heartbreaker there. Wow.
Oh, good stuff. What else is going on?
And then MPGL. Is that it? And then TI?
Yeah.
Is that where we're at?
So.
Wow. Man, this season. I don't want to say it flew by, but that's the old man thing to say. Here we are. TI8. It's before us. Well, that's exciting. Definitely pumped up to watch the summit.
Oh, I see someone posted a Brax clip to the subreddit.
Oh. How cool.
He is the 5th highest. It's about maut.
Oh, yeah.
I love Brax. Oh, that's a great clip. He's just like, I guess everyone was asking about what maut's been doing.
So let's listen to it. We can just put this in the podcast.
Yeah, put it on.
Let's take a clip.
Didn't he quit Dota 2? You do matter, and I'm glad you're here. So what maut did is he got basically he wasn't making enough money being a caster, so he got a real job. He got hired at the Boulder Hospital yesterday. He got an IT job there. He's very excited. I'm happy for him. He's making strides to improve his life. And if I was a braver person, I would have done that a long time ago as well. But I'm happy for him. And this is his last event that he's doing.
Wow. Well, that was
good old Brax, dude.
That was pretty nice.
Can I just shout out the fucking Brax stream, by the way? Braxton911. He's probably live right now.
He might be.
No, he's not. He'll be sleeping because he was live all day.
Oh, okay.
But he has the absolute best stream, you guys. If you do not watch the Braxton stream, you're missing out so hard. It is so chill. He's so PMA, and my God, he's so good. Brax is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's always so high ranked, too. Like, he just slays these games.
He's
So highly
strikingly
recommend.
good. He's got that, like, it reminds me of S4 a little bit. That very cool, calm, and collected, just wrecking people kind of style.
I'm going to link it. I'm
Do
going to
it.
link it in the chat
Do
so
it up.
y'all can click it and go press follow.
Brax
Because it's so good.
911.
Yeah.
Or Braxton, I guess. Yeah, well, so that the MOONDUCK thing's interesting because I wasn't really sure exactly what his game plan was announcement-wise. So I guess Brax just went ahead and took the bull by the horn, so that's good. Definitely a nice shout out there. But yeah, that's pretty much the skinny of it. There's casting, I think, is a roller coaster, right? And comes a certain point where you start to value stability over adventure. Like I feel like I can visualize my timeline in esports, and I can see this graph of like money versus adventure. And at the beginning, you kind of don't really care about money that much. Like, I get to go to Sweden? You're going to buy me a flight and a hotel to go to Asia? Oh my God, this is awesome. And you're just fucking excited about life. You're pumped up to go to LANs, and you're kind of just thinking like, this is going to make me legit. This is going to get me more gigs. I don't even care if you pay me right now because I'm just excited to be alive. I'm a tumbleweed in the breeze. And then as you do more events, you kind of realize your own worth, and you're like, this is a lot of traveling. Airplanes kind of suck. My back's pretty fucking stiff. You guys should start paying me for travel days. That sounds pretty good, right? And then, you start working on better day rates and stuff, and then eventually you hit this wall where you're like, where do I go from here? Unless I'm going to do the capitalist life, or I'm doing 17 events in the circuit and I'm committing to that lifestyle. And that's not always a choice, by the way, right? You need the community support to be that popular and be able to do that many events. That's never a guarantee. You're a contractor all the way along that roller coaster, and you don't know at the beginning of the year, hey, I see all these Dota events. How many am I realistically going to work? How much money am I going to make this year? And usually at the end of the year, you can kind of tally it up and look back and go, oh, okay, I made a reasonable person's salary. That's not too bad. But then you look at taxes, and then you remember you bought your own health care, and you're kind of like, okay, well, this isn't that great. But hey, I went on some fun adventures, right? That was a lot of fun. I ate that seafood buffet for 5 fucking days straight in China. That was awesome, And you have all these great memories. Then after a while, you think, I'm almost 30, and I don't even have close to enough money to buy a house. What's going on here? If my car broke tomorrow, I'd be wondering how I'd be paying to fix that fucking car. And you start thinking about it'd be pretty fucking nice to just make 60 grand a year, know exactly how I'm going to make it, know those increments, get a little bit of health care through the workplace, get some PTO going, and I don't know, start building a future. And I think that's the roller coaster we all ride. And for some of us, it's worked out better than others. And Maut's definitely had some ups and downs. And I think at this point, he's ready for a little bit of stability. I think that's the best way to say it.
I absolutely love all of the comments in his thread, by the way. Maut fans are the best fans. They're always so comical. God, there's so many of them. Like this one, Maut is dope. I got him in a pub when I was AM, and he supported me as Disruptor. I made a mean comment like, you must be the real Maut, because no one would pretend to be him. I checked his profile, and I died and saw the special autograph caches that everyone gets if they have an autograph. He didn't feed, and we won. So I'm gonna miss listening to his casts.
That's pretty dank, dude. I like that. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed my time as a full-time caster, and even when I had a salary, though, it was really scary because I felt like nothing was locked in. When I was at BTS, it really feels like it's a popularity contest, and it is at the end of the day, but there's also a little bit more to it than that, of course. But you feel like your value as a caster, your livelihood, if really all you are is a caster, kind of sways with the general public opinion. You have a really bad event, or if you get really sick in an event and you have to cast with a sinus infection and people are flaming you or something, it feels really shitty when you don't nail it and you fear for your future compared to most other kind of jobs where there's a little bit more give. It's sort of a no excuses sort of line of work. You don't get to go to an event and then be like, sorry guys, I'm fucking sick. It doesn't really work like that. Unless you're bedridden and vomiting off the side of the desk, you're there. They flew you in. They can't just fly in somebody else to replace the host. You You drink some coffee, you take some Dayquil, and you fucking get out there and talk about some Dota.
And no matter how long you do it, sometimes you just open up Reddit and there's you read like 10 nice comments and you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah. And then you just read one comment and it's like mean to you, or it's just like not even a good criticism, and it just sticks with you the whole day. You know what I mean? That still happens to me. I'll still be like going to bed that night, lying down, and the only thing in my head is just that one fucker who just said something just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these 8 other comments, they don't matter. It's just that one mean one. And you're just like, fuck this job sometimes, dude.
Yeah, no, it can definitely be tough. It's a great job, but it definitely has a lot of pressure and a lot of ups and downs. So I can understand the desire. I mean, I made a conscious choice 3 years ago with MOONDUCK to say, hey, I'm going to cast less and spend more time running the business, doing businessy things, and still cast a little bit. And that actually made my casting better because I didn't feel all in on it. So I was able to just go out there and have fun and take some risk instead of feeling like, oh God, I got to be super serious all the time. If I make a joke and they don't like it, they're going to make fun of me. And, you do enough panels with Slacks and you're just kind of like, fuck it. Let's just genuinely have fun. That'll translate on camera, and then fun will be in the atmosphere. And it's a totally different vibe. But, Maut's still sticking around. Like Brack said, he got a job in Boulder, which is very close to where we live here in Colorado. We don't live in Boulder City, but, he's still going to stay living with us here in the house, so I'm sure he'll still be around. And, 40 hours a week, it ain't that much, right? Still got a little time to play some Dota, get some streams in, maybe pop into a podcast here and there. So I think you're still going to see a little bit of Maut around, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. My theory is that Maut's going to bring back the game night. Because he's going to have some time to stream now, right?
This is almost better because now he's going to be on a consistent schedule. So we can actually do every Tuesday when Maut gets home from work at 7 o'clock, we're doing fucking game night. Trent, you might be onto something. I'm writing that down.
So it sounds good to me.
I'm into that. I was actually looking at our Discord channels. I was like, hey, the old game night channel. There's some cobwebs in here. Maybe we can dust those off. Maut let out a little bit of his rage. I think we stopped doing it because Maut and Annie just got a little too hostile with one another. I think
they definitely did.
That was big motivation. Once it kind of started to die, just nobody was motivated to resurrect that. We played golf with quote unquote friends a few too many times. It was really just golf with enemies, and it brutal.
That was some good stuff. Thanks for all the nice comments, guys. Workram. Oh, I always say Workram. It's Wickram, right? Wickram. I always pronounce his name wrong because it's one of those things where I just always read it and no one ever says it, and then I suddenly realized where the R was in his name. So Wickram made some tweet like right after the summit about like sending positive messages to casters and stuff, and just be like, sometimes casters and people in the scene really like positive messages. And my Twitter was just fucking. I got so many DMs that day. So shout out to Wickram. That was nice. I got my phone just kept buzzing, and I love how everyone starts with "Hello, sir." Do you find that? Do your random tweets always start "Hello, sir"?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
There are definitely
Hi,
some regions that use. I found Southeast Asia.
C.
Yeah,
yes.
they call me sir a lot, and I can't really tell if it's a joke or if it's serious or. The C sense of humor eludes me sometimes, so I often just when in doubt laugh along because I assume it's like a joke that I don't really get, and I think that might be, like why do they say "la" after everything? Like nice la or that's expensive la. I don't get it. It's cool. I'm into it. I don't really understand what la means. It seems like they just say it after things when it's convenient.
That's the only like Dota
nice
joke
haircut
that my wife knows. So like we'll be driving somewhere and something will happen. She'll go, "Nice law." It cracks me up whenever she brings it back. It always gets me.
I mean, I think it's still alive and well in that part of the world. I just don't understand it. I don't know. It's funny when I see like because I'm friends with like Master Ramen and a couple other Malaysian folks. So they write. I don't even know what the name of the language is in Malaysia. I can't remember. I've asked 50 different times and I always forget because it's some word I can't remember. But whatever that language is, you see it written. It's very hard to decipher, and that always you'll just see these laws mixed in, and I'm just like, oh, there it is. I can identify that one sound.
Is it Malay? Is that what it is?
It might be Malay.
Because that's pretty easy.
It might be.
You can't remember that?
Well, if that's true, then I'm embarrassed. I think they have several different languages in Malaysia. It's a very multicultural island.
That's a good excuse.
A lot of different dialects. Yeah, we'll call it there. But no.
Oh shit! It's Saturday. Battle Cup. Fuck.
Is it Saturday? No, it's Friday.
Yeah, but it's Saturday AM, right?
Yes.
Okay, phew. Sorry, I just saw the Reddit thread pop up on
No,
Twitter.
it's
Okay.
Friday night.
I'm
so
all
you've
fucked
got a
up because
whole
of C, guys. I'm sorry.
yeah. See,
Right.
yeah. But no, that little like rant about Maut and the roller coaster of casting kind of got me thinking about the tier 2 casting space. I guess some people really don't
It's
like
true.
that word. I was actually scolded. I won't say where, when, or by whom, but scolded for using the phrase tier 2 or tier 3 casters because it's condescending. It's like, well, you're thinking about people in tiers, man, and people are people, and it doesn't work that way. And I kind of disagree. I don't know. I think you can make tiers out of anything, people included. It's not a condescending thing. It's just a factual thing. Toby's on a different tier than me. I don't think that's an offensive thing to say. He's up there. He's up here. I'm down here, and then there's some other people here, and then there's some people down here. Yeah. It's all good. It's just number of hours on the mic. That's a great way to make tiers. How about that? It doesn't. It can be an objective sort of type deal. Anyway, I digress. It's an odd situation for tier 2 casters right now because I feel like when you and I were coming up, there still weren't that many casters. It kind of felt like there's a little bit more space for some top tier analysts. There's going to be more events, and not the same people can host every event. They can't fly red eye everywhere. I hosted a couple events. Sheaver hosted some events. There were a lot of people, but it was needed, especially in this last season where there were so many events. We needed this wave of people that hadn't really worked that many lands, kind of your epicenter casters. That's sort of a grouping of individuals. Now, it's not that the space is crowded, but there's not that many seats left. It's like the landscape has really, really changed. And I think it's way harder to stand out as a tier 2 caster now. It's like if you've never worked a LAN before, I genuinely don't know how you get that opportunity to work your first LAN to show the world that you're LAN material. Like getting that first shot is one of the hardest things of really breaking through and becoming a full-time caster. And the only way I was able to do it was getting a full-time job at BTS. And I grinded my ass off working from the studio when everyone else went to events for the first year that I worked there, an entire 12-month cycle before I worked. I think actually Starladder in November was like my first event, and I got hired in January. And then the year after that is when I started working more and more events. But the only reason I worked that Starladder was because LD was like, I don't really want to. I don't want to go. Do you want to go? Okay, cool. Hop on the airplane. It was just I worked for a studio. They got the gig, and they needed somebody to go. They were like, hey, if you want the shot, we'll give it to you. It's your turn to step up. But that's not replicatable. I can't just say to someone, hey, yeah, just get a job at a studio, and then you'll do well after a year, and then you'll get to go to a LAN. That's not a realistic strategy that you can just tell somebody to execute. There's a lot of moving pieces involved with something like that. So,
it's funny because when I came in too, I had a lot of that same idea of just like you always think of just like, oh, they were first movers and that's why they're there. You know what I mean? You kind of have this thing of just like, a lot of these people are grandfathered in, and it's like I can be better than them and blah 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 because you have this, you need a little. It's kind of like that good mid laner idea of like you have to have some sort of an ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to be good,
you got to be.
I definitely
hungry.
had a little bit of that ego. There's no doubt. I was just like, I can fucking do this. But at that time, it still felt like there wasn't that much space. But I definitely got lucky in the sense of just like there weren't enough co-casters, so I had to slot in and basically fill something that people who aren't pro players generally don't do.
Yeah.
But it worked out. So in that sense, I was lucky. Like you still have to put in the work and everything, but it is true. Like even now that I don't know if I would be able to do it right now.
Yeah, I don't know
You know what I mean?
either. And I think, like the dreads were kind of a gimmick, and I don't think that was, the reason that I broke through is because I had a goofy haircut and I was memorable, but I think it helped, Like I think about the Coddle Guy story. Dakota came up at a time when we were at BTS thinking, man, there's no space for casters. How are people like this ever going to stand out? A year later, we're like, oh my God, we're so overworked. We need help. Who can we hire? We look at Dakota and we're just kind of like, well, he's got a great personality. He's charismatic. He's done all this creative stuff on stream. He's been fun to work with. Fuck it, let's give this guy a chance. But he made himself memorable. In that situation, we weren't spending hours curating footage and going, like, making some kind of tiered score system of which caster was best. Who missed the most kills, who messed up the most analysis. It was a gut thing. It was like, hey, I kind of remember that guy. He made it on Reddit a few times. He seemed pretty funny. Let's give that dude a shot. And that's the kind of stuff you got to do to get yourself out there. And even though the dreads were goofy, I was pretty fucking memorable. It's hard to forget that guy when you're the one dude with hair that's sticking out like a lion's mane with a fucking pink ribbon in his hair, still wearing a suit jacket and flip-flops. You remember that guy. It's good to have something to stand out. Not to say that everyone has to have a gimmick, but you have to somehow stand out to be memorable. And it's fucking tough out there, man. It is brutal.
Yeah, it is an unforgiving area. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think one other aspect that, I mean, this might sound a little privileged, but I think the idea of going all in on esports is a little bit of a fallacy unless you have a full-time job or you have some sort of a niche or stream or product or app or something that is actually generating revenue, or you're like, hey, I'm going to make 30 grand this year because I've, got these kind of contracts lined up or these event partners or, X amount of subscribers or what have you. But most of the successful esports people I know in Dota never really just flipped the switch and tried to force it. It was always this like, hey, I'm working full time, I'm casting, I'm like moonlighting it, I'm casting 20 hours a week when I can. Okay, now I'm working part-time and I'm casting a little bit more. For a lot of people, like BTS started with a Kickstarter, so they had a little bit of a cushion there when they got started. I always did like contracting work with web design and all sorts of other stuff. Most people I know did contracting shit on the side or had some other skill that padded their income. That was
Gold Norton,
Yeah, dude. Well, dude, the dream is a flexible job where you can work whatever hours you want, because that's the biggest thing with casting. You can get a lot of gigs if your schedule is wide open. There are a lot of times where it's like, fuck, this guy flaked out. We need somebody in an hour. Are you available? That was how you casted the first elimination mode. Oh, fuck, we don't have enough people. Who's available? This guy's here. I like him. Okay, good. Throw him on. And we're live. Hello, everybody. We're here with Trent Packs. Hey, so, Statsman, what's going on?
Yep.
If you're in the right place at the right time, it can do a lot of things for you. But that's tough. Most jobs have a rigid schedule, so you can't just fuck off and go casting in the middle of the day or stay up all night casting just because somebody sent you a PM on Skype. So if you have a flexible job that also has a high hourly, that is the ultra dream. If you can make $30 to $50 an hour making websites or doing massages or selling Norton or jerking off penguins or whatever it is you do out there, Oh,
I told you about that business, did I?
Yeah. That's the way to do it. And then that way you have this buffer and you're giving yourself this time and this natural pressure of, I'm burning the candle at both ends. I know it's not sustainable, but my brand is growing. I can sort of see this light at the end of the tunnel. And if I keep working on it, eventually I'll be able to stop jerking off penguins and just focus on casting Dota 2 full time. And you can make that decision or commitment when you have the opportunities lined up or when you have a job or when you at least have that casting resume. It's really hard to just say, hey, I'm full-time. Why aren't you fucking hiring me now, guys? I'm right here. It's really scary to do that kind of a thing. And I don't really know anyone who was able to do that. I think OD Pixel was maybe as close as it got because, one, he got very lucky with casting that super long game with Purge. That was one of his big breakout moments where people went, holy shit, this guy's incredible. I didn't know who he was before this, but now I love him. That game made him a star overnight. And then after that, we all realized how fucking good this guy is and how much of a gem OD Pixel was, and we didn't even realize it. And Owen's niche is being so fucking incredible at being a hype play-by-play caster. I think he's unmatched.
He is endless energy. My God. Dude, even you're sitting down at the buffet with him, and Owen's just like this. And he's just like, hey, Trent, you want to go play games? He's like, hey, Trent, let's go play games. It's just he never stops, man. It's wild.
It's incredible. But he's really grown too. He's gotten better at Dota. He's gotten better at understanding the pace of the game. He's gotten better at controlling his cadence, so it's not just all hype all the time, but when he lets it out, he can talk so fast and so articulate, and you just get chills when you're watching those hype moments and he's fucking going in and you're just like, it invokes that feeling, and not many casters just have the ability to do that and just turn it on when it gets that hype. So anyway, it's fucking tough out there. I don't know. I definitely feel lucky to have gotten in when I did in terms of esports. I feel like esports is a little bit like cryptocurrency. The best time to get in was yesterday, and the second best time to get in is today, because that shit's, well, Bitcoin's not really growing right now, but it's growing. It's coming back, Trent. It's gonna swing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a seesaw. It goes up, it goes down. It's
what is that historical laughing thing? Schadenfreude or whatever? Schadenfreude. You know what I'm talking about? That German laughing at others' misery or whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I definitely have that about cryptocurrency. Not gonna lie. Because
that's fair.
I spent a couple of events just fucking sitting there, just quietly listening to everyone talk about crypto and how much money they made from crypto and how much they were slaying crypto.
Yeah.
And now we go to events, you don't hear too much about crypto anymore. And I know a lot of people held. They did not sell. So
yep. No,
I'm not gonna lie,
dude.
It is pretty funny.
I completely agree, and I don't blame you at all. It's tough. It's obnoxious. I like to keep it topical. Some people go a little too deep. Yeah, I'm with you there, pal.
But for those of you who did cash out, congratulations, because that was a major. What is it? It would have been like 300% returns or something at this point.
Something, yeah. I wish I had sold my Litecoins. Oh my god, fucking Litecoins. Oh god.
Sell.
Please,
maut
please, Litecoin, just have one more run. I beg of you, one more run past 150. I will
Wait, I thought you were gonna sell.
I was gonna, and then I did the same thing everyone else did. I got fucking greedy. It got back up to like 160 or 170.
Oh my god.
And I was like, dude, why would I sell now? If it goes back over 200, these returns are gonna be unbelievable. And then, of course, it just went back down, and now it's worth fucking 85 or some shit. It's goddamn awful. And now that the Lightning Network is coming out, I don't know why you even want to use Litecoin. If you wanted to use a Litecoin type thing, you'd probably just use Bitcoin Cash, even though it's garbage.
May 4th, we had this discussion. What happened?
I know, dude. It's bad. Crypto is awful. It gives you that... No matter what you do, you have extreme FOMO and feelings of like, I fucked this up. I know I couldn't have predicted it, but if I had just done this, I would have so many more crypto coins right now. And then you remember it's all just fucking made up monopoly money anyway. So I don't know. It's
how was your crypto game last beta test, by the way?
Good.
I didn't ask.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's pretty interesting. So I feel like I can talk about it a little bit more now, but we decided to add another feature, but we're hoping to launch it actually within like a week or two, assuming we don't hit any crazy big programming snags. We've put a lot of effort into the front end, but it's like a prisoner's dilemma based thing. We've added a new element to it that makes it a lot more interesting, and I think will add to the replayability. But it's pretty wild going through the experience of multiple beta tests and like getting the feedback and seeing how things grow. And it's weird to see where you start, and when you think, dude, this is so good, it's so polished, people are gonna love this. Then you get the feedback, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we need to fix all these things. Then you do it again, and you go, oh wow. Yeah, we're not even close. We should add all these other features. That would totally make it way cooler. And it's insane how the design process just keeps growing. Very, very fun experience. I'm pumped to get it out there, though. Yeah, I don't know what the adoption's going to be like. I hope some of y'all are ready to install MetaMask. We're trying to figure out what to do. You want to play on the big debut? We want to do a release day stream, Trent. You could spoof your name as Maut and betray some people.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah,
I'll just make my name Slacks and just say always trust me.
Now that happened in one of the betas. The first beta, there was this whole meta of people spoofing as Maut because you can make your name whatever you want. So I think there were 10 people playing at once, and there was a moment where up to 4 individuals were playing all just as the name Maut. So it was very, very confusing. It was a lot of fun. They really let the expletives fly, Jerry. We've been watching a lot of Seinfeld recently. Sorry, guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was Kramer loaded up on Novocaine for the layman's out there that haven't seen Seinfeld as much as you and I have. Carlo absolutely loves it, and his girlfriend absolutely hates it, and it's so funny to watch them watch Seinfeld together. It's more fun than watching Seinfeld.
Do you think Seinfeld would be better without a laugh track?
Yes. I didn't know about laugh tracks, and when someone pointed it out, I was just like, this ruins Seinfeld for me. But you got to remember it was made fucking 25 years ago, so laugh tracks were the hot shit back then.
It's the only show I can stand with a laugh track.
Yeah, I think laugh tracks are cheese dick. I think the concept behind the laugh track is counterintuitive and just fucking insulting as a viewer. Just like, they told me when to laugh. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, that Kramer. You know, it's like, if I wouldn't laugh because you didn't tell me when to laugh, then it's not fucking funny, and you need to hire better writers. How about that? Is that too harsh? Sorry, Big
No,
Bang Theory.
that's definitely true.
I mean,
Big
Jesus
Bang Theory is
Christ.
pretty brutal. You know, sometimes I watch it, and there are funny jokes on it. For sure. There's no doubt that some of the writing is good. But
Yeah.
oh my god, some of them are just... It feels so forced. Like, if there wasn't a laugh track, you just would not laugh. There's
Yeah.
no doubt.
Now, I will say, I wish somebody would release a version of SVU with a laugh track, because I think that would be pretty funny. Ice-T, can you believe this guy sucks off little kids? And then it's just somebody laughing.
There must be a
Ice-T.
YouTube video of that.
Oh, at Ice-T. He still doesn't get it. 25 years in the force, and this guy's still surprised about perverts. Oh, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I love SVU. It's such a guilty pleasure. It's
Got
so
it.
stupid. Yeah, I
I used to watch that show so much.
yeah, I feel like
SVU.
I've been missing out on just the commercials of regular TV. I don't even know when movies are coming out anymore. You know, I don't see mainstream ads nearly as much as I used to. Watching World Cup, I've got Fox Go, so I get to watch just the normal legit streams with the full ads and everything, and it's kind
Right.
of, you know, soccer really only has ads in the middle during their quote halftime show, which is let me just take a moment and say how fucking stupid the World Cup halftime show is. It's like a 25-minute break. It's like 20 minutes of ads, and there's 5 minutes. They have a desk with a host and like 3 or 4 analysts. They show the desk for maybe 20 seconds. The host talks the entire time, and then they cut right to the highlights. The host talks for probably 60% of the highlights. I don't even know why the analysts are there. They've got Alexi Lawless on the desk. He's a top-tier, world-class soccer player, and this fucking Wabo Jones that reminds me of me. I'm like, now I know why people don't like me when I talk too much on panels. I want to hear from the fucking smart people. And like, by the time they let the analysts talk, it's just this stupid fucking T-ball level, like, so what did you think of this goal? And it's like, oh, wow, he really got his head around that one, Jerry. And then they move on to the next replay. It's not even any fucking analysis. It's just play-by-play from the analyst. And then as soon as they're done with the highlights, it goes back to the host, and he says, all right, we'll be back after this word from Bud Light. Drink responsibly, and then... That's it. It's so dumb.
That was very accurate.
It pisses me off every time it comes on. It's so American, so cliche, and just like, oh, we got to jam the ads in there while we can. And it's just, as a host and panelist, it pisses. If I were Alexi Lawless, I'd be like, why did you guys bring me here? Why did you fly me into this studio? I
bet
had
he makes
3
a lot,
lines.
though.
Yeah, they probably pay him a fuckload. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I watch panels now for traditional sports, and it's cool, you know? It's the best way that I can explain to my family members, yeah, that's what I do. You know, we're all watching hockey, and the panel comes on, and they're like, is that what you do? And I'm like, yeah, that's literally what I do. Just you guys have no fucking clue what we talk about, but that's what it is, you know? I'm that annoying guy that, you know, we all kind of make fun of. That's pretty much it.
I do watch that
good.
stuff
It's
through a
solid.
different lens now, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I will watch any sporting event just out of curiosity of how they do the overlays, how they do the transitions, where the ad placements are, how they do like sell out activations and stuff. It's very interesting. It's cool to see how the true mainstream does it.
They got all the Coke bottles on the desks right now for World Cup and everything.
Yeah.
Pretty comical.
It's crazy, though, compared to that, how nutso our panels are. You know, like, think about that opener we did at Bucharest with Red Eye. There was a lot of our faces on camera, and that felt like, relative to esports shows, like we had a lot of assets to work with, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, they do way more production stuff, way more about videos, which makes sense because I think you're trying to attract a less dedicated viewer when it comes to sports and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Dota, you are tuning in to watch that Dota. This is the Dota that you have come for. Whereas I feel like, for the most part, sports stuff, a lot of it is, like, background noise. Whereas, I mean, panels can be that, too. But I feel like we have to, like, draw them in more. Or, on traditional sports, rather. Whereas, like, we get a little bit easier with our viewers.
Yeah, there is definitely a gap. Like, real sports have that advantage of you can mute it and watch it with your family, and your fucking grandfather is telling you about strategies for baseball. In Dota, it's sort of like you need the panel and the casters and that extra stuff to keep the audience, you know, in kind of engaged to understand what's going on because the game is so much more complicated, you know? Compared to baseball, Dota is pretty fucking complex. Sorry, baseball fans.
I didn't even know what Dota was like 6 years ago. That blows my mind.
That is actually hard to wrap my brain around for you. I don't know. You didn't even know what it was?
I didn't even know what a MOBA was.
That's nuts, dude.
6 years ago. I never heard of any of this shit. I didn't have PC gaming. You know, I didn't play Warcraft 3.
Dude, the first time I played Dota must have been like, God, it was like 2000s, early 2000s. You know, I mean, the very first time, I'm sure I was even confused as fuck. I just thought it was some random custom game on Warcraft 3, but
my brother had to take a phone call for like work or something, and he called me into his room and he said, "Hey, play this game for me." And I was like, "What do I do?" And he was like, "Your puck. These are your skills. Just pretend it's Diablo." That's basically what he said. And he said, "There's other players." And I killed the other guy in the lane. And I was just like, "Dude, this game's easy. I'm slaying." And then that was the first time I ever played Dota. And like a week later, he was like, "Hey, do you want to come play that game with us? You can win hats for TF2." I was like, "Okay.
Wow.
I want TF2 hats."
What a hook, dude.
Yeah.
Man, your brother must have been awesome. He must have been playing in a really top-tier bracket if a first-timer was able to kill the person he was in lane against, as Puck, no less.
Yep, I was an off-lane Puck.
Wow.
Easy. My brother was really ahead of the meta.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's
7 years ago, off-lane Puck, he knew. God, I love TF2. It's still my second most played game after
really?
After Dota, yep.
Okay.
PUBG was not quite able to beat it or anything.
No, I was not a big TF2 guy. Yeah, talk about a dead game, man. PUBG, for real, has... What was the last time you loaded that guy up?
I don't know.
I
played the Savage Beta. I still like playing with friends. Like, if I see Gary B in them, I'll jump in, but I haven't played in like probably two months or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We were talking about on 4th of July. I brought up PUBG and Slacks just started laughing. He said, last time I played PUBG was the last time I was at a PUBG event. It's like, that sounds about accurate. Yeah.
Yep.
That game's donezo. Fortnite, on the other hand, I just saw before we went live, and somebody tweeted that the Friday night Fortnite like event that they do, it had 600K concurrents. 600.
What? Really?
60000.
Viewers? Are we talking viewers or players?
Viewers.
Jesus. I wonder how many concurrent players they have.
I
must
have
be insane.
no idea. It's
because of all the kids and just like it's free and it's on mobile
and now it's on Switch and like I don't even.
We need to play.
I need to play. I'm beyond words. I was hoping I could just avoid it, but it's gotten to this point where I feel like I'm out of the loop because I haven't really played it. I've watched some streams. I mean, I get it. You build stuff. You shoot people. It's cartoony. You drink some jugs of water or something. Cool.
Let me just say, I love the fact that it's not esports. It's not traditional esports. The way that they're doing it and like these setups with Ninja and shit.
Yeah.
Just keep it like that. Don't try and push this like pro Fortnite teams. That's not the way to do it. PUBG fucked up. They could have done this right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be this idea of just like it should be like half good players and half like randoms, and the randoms are trying to beat the good players.
So
like,
apparently they use celebrities and stuff too. That's the real. That's smart though. Now it is. They're thinking outside the box.
Yeah, it should not be like normal esports. It should be a more individualistic thing.
Dude, that's genius.
That would be fun.
You just throw Drake in there. Let's see if Drake can survive in King of the Hill. That sounds way better than watching some try-hard. Let's see if Team Evil Geniuses could do the wraparound. This looks like the snake formation. They're going to go up against Complexity's Flying V. Here's the grenade, and they're going to fly too. That's just no one. It's like watching competitive racing. I was just reading an article about how McLaren is doing their next season of competitive racing because they did their first one to find the fastest gamer, and the prize was they hired the guy to be a sim driver to test stuff. So now they're doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so now they're doing their second season, and it's a little bit more. It's a little more NBA 2K like, where I think they're like having all these different competitions and stuff. I don't think it's completely fleshed out, but it's kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm like, who wants to watch racing? It's awesome to compete. If you're gonna get a job at McLaren, that's badass as fuck. But I still don't want to watch you compete. Cool race cars.
Have you ever heard about that guy who was like from Iceland or something, who was just like obsessed with playing F1 like racing simulator, and he played at home and he had the full setup and everything, and he was insanely good, and he held like a bunch of world records, and he was invited to come race in a real car, and he at his first laps were obviously extremely slow, but by the end of it he was starting to get up to like semi-professional to like just below that tier of being like a pro racer within like a couple hours in a real
Really?
car. Isn't that crazy?
That
compared
is
to like
pretty
a sim
crazy.
car. Like he had just like literally he would go to work. I think he was like a fisher or something. He would go out all day. He was a fisherman. He'd come home all night. He would just fucking sim. That was like his life. That's what he loved. He just played sim F1, and they put
Wow.
him in a real car and he could do it because that's how accurate the sim was.
Wow.
Pretty cool. That must have been the fucking dream for that guy.
That is actually, I guess it's impressive that racing simulators have gotten to that point where it's not even video games. You're just a legitimate race car driver. You know, if you're that good at it, if you have a simulator set up that is that 1-to-1. And it makes sense that eventually the technology be good enough that they could replicate the physics that it is pretty fucking close. I mean, I know they do that with airplanes and shit. You know, like if there's a crash, they get the box and they recreate it and have other pilots do it in the simulator to see, you know, if it was pilot error. That's how they evaluate whether or not it was realistic for somebody to make, you know, X maneuver or whatever. But wow, that's pretty fascinating.
You know, I'm actually in a new phase. One of the best phases of gaming is when you're trying to learn and get better at something. And it's like, that's what Dota's so amazing for, right? It's just like that whole learning curve and trying to get there. Guys, I'm in. All right. Now listen, I'm going to do it. Gonna learn the melee.
God,
you know, we had to do those streams and everything.
No.
By the end of those 3 days, I was getting so much better with Falcon. And I was able to beat everyone pretty much except for like the people who've been playing for a long time. Like I couldn't beat Cap. Me and Blitz were trading like back and forth. Blitz is really good for, well, to be fair, he was playing Sheik, but I'll give it to him anyway. So I'm getting there. I'm gonna get up there, guys. I'm gonna figure it out.
Well,
but I've got a secret character that I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna whip it out next time. I'm gonna get him.
Well, good luck
right.
to you, Trent.
Thank you.
I fear for you. My only beef with Smash is the ergonomics, man.
I know,
that
it's
shit
brutal.
is. Yeah. I'm awful. I barely know anything, but I can just see it. When people explain the maneuvers, I can understand how your hands aren't supposed to go into that shape. And my fucking God, sir, I could not imagine being a professional Smash player and every day having to wake up and think, do I practice and use some of my valuable finite finger strength? Because one day this will not exist.
The one thing I'm having a really hard time with is like every time you hit the ground, basically, theoretically, you should be L canceling after like every move. So you have to like press L every single time you hit the ground. And when you think about that, holy shit, I started trying to practice it and my finger was already sore. Yep. Not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, it's brutal.
So I'm not that dedicated that I'm gonna ruin myself, but I definitely want to be competitive enough to hang with the boys. So I'll get there.
One of the issues is the same thing with like the speedrunners, like and Nintendo 64. Those controllers are not ergonomic. You do not.
How did you hold them as a kid? Did you hold it weird?
I held the big one and the side one. So like
you know, like the analog stick. Did you just use your thumb?
Yes.
I did the thumb and the index finger. Was anyone else like that? I don't know why.
But you index
naturally,
fingered on the main joystick. Why?
Well, naturally, when I first held it, I had my middle finger on the Z button on the back, and then my index finger just wasn't doing anything, and I felt it was more precise with like these ones.
I use index finger for the Z trigger.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Oh, I see. You would like held. Yeah, that's like the normal way. But for some reason, I did it with 2 fingers. I don't know. It just felt natural, and I just did it forever.
Jesus. Dude, that's really... I've never heard of anybody doing that. That's really strange.
Really? Am I the only one? Happy Corey says same.
I mean...
can I get a 2 if you held it stupidly? Anyone else?
I mean,
can I get some votes here?
I'm sure there might be a few other people out there with crab claws instead of hands, but that's very peculiar, my friend. Everyone that I knew just held it like a regular controller and used their index finger for Z. Z was a very important key. You know, that's like shooting buttons for a lot of it. So,
well, it was fine, though, because my
bullets.
index finger was on, or my middle finger was on. It was slapping that Z key whenever I needed it.
That's true, I suppose. But then how did you... Okay, yeah. All right.
I don't know. It just worked.
All right.
It is true, though. If you ever had to use L, that was definitely
that's
a problem.
like people that use those fucking ball mice with their thumb. If you can get precise with it, it actually works pretty well, but I cannot. I'm not about that life.
Dude, I remember playing so much Star Fox now. That's like the thing that comes to my mind when I put my fingers in this position. Oh.
Star Fox. Yeah, it's a good classic. That's a good one.
Oh, so good.
All right, dog. What do you say we wrap this up and get a little chow before we get the MPGL?
Oh yeah, we only
going
got
on?
like half an hour.
Is that when the stream starts? 30 minutes before?
Ish. Well,
Ish?
we did like 2:45 yesterday, so
Okay.
Probably, it's pretty flexible. We just put on the clean feed and kind of
Right.
wait till the game starts.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, then let's do it. Of course, MPGL coverage is not on this channel. It's, what is it, the Met Esports? You'll see it on
Yes.
your Twitch catalog there, twitch.tv/Met Esports. I think it's MET.
Let me find it. Underscore esports. I
Underscore
believe.
esports. Old Trent's got your back. Find this podcast on Zyori.tv. The video will be up on the Moonduck YouTube. And I think that's pretty much everything. I'm going to be on holiday. I'm going to have a nice time, do some writing, eat some food, try to actually unplug and just enjoy the Swedish weather. Hopefully, my sinuses continue to stay clear and this doesn't turn into the worst vacation of my life.
Oh, that would be sad.
That would be very sad, but I'm really excited. Maybe I'll do a stream from Inferno Online.
What is? Met Sports is currently hosting Ian Panda
Oh, that's good.
playing. I don't know what she's playing. Is this like Pharma something? This looks hilarious. Anyway,
And
comical looking game.
you can also check out Maut's Twitter for a twit longer. It looks like old Maut Man has been hard at work
Making the tweet longer.
writing.
Brax breaking the story. All right. About me leaving Dota.
He called it Dunzo with Dota. Wow. Maut,
That's so perfect.
shout out to you and your titles. I like
Shout
that.
out to Mott.
Dunzo with Dota. Shout out
Okay.
to Maut indeed.
I know he's always going to be around. It's fine.
Dude,
We're
I
still
gotta
gonna game all the
add
time.
Maut to the podcast list, or guest list. I think he might have been on one a long time ago, but
Is it time for him to earn it?
I think it's finally time
he's
for
he's
Maut.
only been asking
to
you for like 2 fucking years.
All right.
Mott, you're retired. Would you like to come on my Dota podcast now?
Well, now it's going to be epic. Now, like, I've been waiting. Now the podcast has been ripened. We've got hundreds of viewers. We'll come back in a couple of weeks. I'll come back fresh from Sweden. Maut will be starting this job at the fucking hospital, plugging in printers, saving people from dumpster fires, and then we'll get him on here. We'll talk about Star Trek. We'll talk about esports. We'll talk about
Perfect.
Fortnite. It'll be perfect. This is
All right.
dude. We've got a goddamn plan. And on that note, folks, we will see you next time on the Zyori Podcast.